Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Executive Vice President of CES, Ms. Karen Chupka.
President, CES.
Welcome, everybody, to our fourth CES Asia. This year's show is highlighting breakthroughs in technology like artificial intelligence and augmented reality, vehicle technology, and robotics. Our next two keynote speakers are very special. They're two Germans who actually are running a startup here in China and are determined to build a global brand of premium smart electric vehicles. In January, their first model launched at CES 2018 in Las Vegas, and their booth was a sought-after destination throughout the show. This new brand that's grabbing the attention of consumers worldwide is BYTON. And the two entrepreneurial Germans are BYTON's co-founder, CEO, Dr. Carsten Breitfeld, and President, Dr. Daniel Kirchert. Dr. Carsten Breitfeld, unfortunately, cannot be here with us this afternoon. He had so much excitement at his event and the press event that they did yesterday, and with all the activity today in his booth, he lost his voice. So it's very hard to give a keynote presentation when you can't speak. So he's sorry for not being here. However, we instead are joined today by Henrik Wenders, who's the VP of Marketing and was also present last night at some of their announcement. We also have Dr. Daniel Kirchert here. He is a Chinese son-in-law. He came to China 20 years ago to study, and he's been in the country ever since. He's recognized by the industry as a China hand. He's known as a brand marketing guru in the automotive industry. He has a sharp and nuanced understanding of the Chinese automobile market, having already helped BMW and Infiniti both achieve great success in the local marketplace. BYTON has the vision to create the next generation smart device on four wheels, and they're turning miles into smiles. Instead of merely refining cars, the brand is looking to refine life. I just viewed their two concept cars in their booth, and I just have to say, it's really impressive what they're doing. The future of mobility scenarios that were once only seen in movies are now truly close at hand. Now, please watch this video.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Hey, finished my meeting. Can you pick me up?
I'm close.
Yeah, I can meet you downtown. 8 p.m.?
Good.
See you there.
Nothing gonna stop me now.
Hey.
Hey.
Breitfeld brings it down out of the sky brilliantly, and he'll curl it. Oh, what a goal!
好，大家下午好。
Good afternoon.
I'm Daniel Kirchert, president of BYTON.
And I'm Henrik, running BYTON's marketing. Good to see you and many faces we have seen last night already.
Firstly, we send you regards from our CEO, Carsten. He really regrets not being able to be here, but he was really impossible to say anything. So, but we decided to keep a format, be on the stage together. And also today we want to use a bit special format because BYTON is a global startup rooted in China, but going global. So we will do Chinese and English, both in a mix between us. I will do the Chinese part, Henrik the English part. So I hope that's okay for you.
And my Chinese is a little bit rusty, so this is why I hope you understand and support this idea.
今天我们会双语啊，我讲中文的 Henrik 讲。
Today I'm going to be bilingual in delivering the presentation. First off, I'd like to thank CTA for giving us this opportunity. We are a 2-year-old startup, so it is really happy to have this opportunity to stand on the stage and share with you. And I think we have a close relationship with the CES, and this year, during the Las Vegas CES, we have the first debut of our concept vehicle, and we have achieved what is beyond our expectation, and people like our first concept vehicle. Therefore, we decided to come to Shanghai and showcase our second concept car, and you can go to N5 Hall to see our concept car there. I think we can get started now. Today, we are going to share with you our vision of future mobility and our innovative efforts with all of you. Over the past 100 years, automotive companies have been designing cars centered on the needs of the drivers. Therefore, it was very traditional. And there haven't been any fundamental changes in the form of the automobile. However, today, technologies such as electric powertrain, artificial intelligence, and seamless connectivity are driving fundamental transformations in the auto industry. And we believe going electric and going smart are the future of the automobile. Electrification is the basis of this ongoing transformation, as electric vehicles are easier to host a variety of smart devices. Going smart is the core of future mobility. A car will no longer be a performance machine. Instead, it will become a new smart device. From the perspective of time, electric vehicles are about to prevail, and autonomous driving vehicles remains in its infancy, while the smart trend is fast emerging. And we believe our company comes at just the right time, just as Tesla initiated a revolution into auto electrification, and our goal is to spearhead the auto industry in the new age of going smart. At BYTON, our goal is to create the most futuristic smart electric car, inside and out. Around the 3 eyes, today we will also take you on a tour as you can learn the details of our 2 models, BYTON N-Byte concept and the BYTON K-Byte concept showcased at the CES Asia today. I believe that you can feel the strong digital power from their names. We are taking inspiration from our brand name, BYTON, which is derived from bytes on wheels. In the future, all BYTON products based on our EV platform will be called Byte. It is to represent their next-generation smart device DNA. And now I will hand over to Henry.
Unique and prominent feature you have noticed already, it's our innovative user interface. Because we think that echoes perfectly what Steve Jobs said a decade ago, that a revolution of user interface will change everything. So just like the iPhone completely put the entire mobile phone industry upside down, we convinced that we have to interpret this strategy in the automotive industry. So with the BYTON user interface concept, we're aiming to provide the most future-oriented user interface in the industry. The BYTON is equipped with 4 displays. So the most prominent one is the so-called shared experienced display. So it's a coast-to-coast display containing the main information. Then on top of that, we have the driver tablet. So direct in the field of vision, it's the first time that we have a display integrated in the steering wheel. So the driver is not being distracted by looking down. The driver is having everything in the direct field of vision. On top of that, we have 2 touch displays in the rear, because in a BYTON, every single seat is equally important. So on every single seat, every single user has its own display for the relevant information sharing. On top of that, it's important to us that the user interface is based on simplicity. That means some of you prefer touch. Some of you prefer voice. Some of you might prefer gesture already. So this is the reason why we are integrating all 3 forms of user interface to make it as convenient as possible. And based on the concept we developed already, I can promise you it will be very, very easy to use, because we believe this is key, as I said, like an iPhone. So we replaced the traditional center console with the coast-to-coast display. So this is the unique user interface looking like. So by replacing the coast-to-coast, by replacing the center console, we are also providing a huge space in the front of the car. That means we are also providing a rotating seat. So in the autonomous age of the autonomous driving, you can rotate the seats, you can stretch the legs, and then you can consume the relevant content according to your preferences. So these are the dimensions. It's 1.25 meters wide and 25 centimeters high. So it's the first 49-inch display in the industry. And it's important to recognize that we are the first manufacturer who is going to go for a mass production, so industrializing this device, this display with an automotive grid. So based on this display, of course, we were also confronted with many questions, and it's important to us that we apply safety first. So it's very important that we apply all the automotive safety requirements in order to meet all global requirements. Because the BYTON will be available globally. The first market is going to be China, followed by the United States, and followed by Europe. So it's important to us that we apply all mass production standards in order to be able to market this concept worldwide. So, as I said, safety is key, and as you can see, it would offer a large potential in terms of driver distraction. So this is why we applied all the safety-relevant features in order to make sure that it provides all information you need for driving, instead of providing entertainment while driving, of course. So let me share with you some safety-related features. So as you can see, the SED sits below the bonnet line, so perfectly integrated into the dashboard, so thus granting the front occupants a complete view of the car's surroundings. It sits at an ideal distance and angle of the driver's eye, so to improve the perception of the road and enhance the experience as a driver. And as I mentioned, so the driver display in the direct field of vision, so no distraction to look down, to be distracted by anything, so everything is remaining in the direct field of vision. So when you see here, so the adaptive user interface, so right in front of the driver, so you have all the driver-related information. So you have the display, so here these surroundings you see, these are going to be the cameras, the rear view cameras, so you have everything in your direct field of vision. Of course, everyone has a different height, so of course everything can be adjusted, that you always have a perfect view on the screens on your first panel containing all driving information. On the right-hand side, you see then we can adjust the information according to the situation you're in. So in the situation you are self-driving the car, for example, we can use the entire panel 2 and 3 for navigation. In case you are in the future in the autonomous mode, of course, we can use this screen also for entertainment, or of course, when the car is stationary. What's also important is the brightness feature, because of course when you see it in the full brightness, it would distract you, it would blind you. So this is why the car will the display will automatically adjust the color grading. So if you drive into a tunnel, or there are clouds, or it's pure sunshine, or if you're in the night mode. So as we know it already from cars today, the display will adjust the density, the brightness according to the situation where you are driving. So, and on top of that, of course, we are applying safety when it comes to the display itself. So we use a soft silicon-based bonding coating, so that prevents display from shattering in case of accident. And in addition, the anti-reflective coating avoids excessive smashing of the display, reflection of the display. Sorry. So. And with these safety features, with these application of details, we are going to meet the 5-star crash testing. And in order to do so, of course, we are also integrating the highest airbag standards. And as you can imagine, by having the display in the steering wheel, we had to come up with a completely new airbag system, because the airbag has also to be integrated in the steering wheel. And usually you just have the airbag and not a display on top. So we were able to integrate the driver tablet, and below, in a very compact packaging, we were able to integrate the driver airbag, and in the hopefully unlikely case of an accident, it explodes, and then it covers the entire steering wheel and driver tablet, so that also the driver is perfectly protected. So this is what we are currently developing in the industrializing. We are currently applying the first crash tests. So the so-called homologation process is running in order to meet those legal standards prior to the launch, which is going to take place in China end of next year, and in 2020 in Europe and the United States. So since our first M-Byte, so the first car, which, as Karen said, we launched it at the CES 2018, so at the CES Las Vegas in January. Our coast-to-coast display, of course, created a lot of buzz, a lot of discussion. And what is pleasing me, that those people who we invited to sit behind the steering wheel, to check it out themselves, to sit in the car themselves, were quite surprised that you have this perfect field of vision. And I just invite you to test it yourself. Maybe we cannot grant access to anyone here in this hall to our car, but please come over to our stand and check it out yourself, because just by looking at it, looking at the dashboard, you see the proportions. I just can tell you, you have a very, very good feeling, and due to the big size of the screen, the navigation information, it's even much more convenient. And due to the fact that artificial intelligence is coming down the road, and much more information are going to be shared together with navigation, we think it's much more important that we have a bigger screen to share all those information without being distracted by looking at a small screen. So we are quite convinced, and those people who tested already are sharing this positive response with us.
Okay, thank you, Henrik.
While ensuring safety, the shared experience display can display all the driving-related content in the most intuitive way. It also creates infinite possibilities for third-party contents and applications, so that you don't have to reach out to your smartphone again while driving. This is a standard for ourselves that we set for ourselves. There are lots of cars that can't cater to the needs of the consumers. Say, for navigation, they put their phone in front of them while driving. So that's why we say the cars need to become smart devices, so that they don't have to produce their phones from their pockets. Now we are EA team collaborating with Baidu, our first local partner in the area of connected content and services, to jointly develop a navigation function that adapts to our user interface and an in-car voice assistant enabled by Baidu AI. Navigation is the most commonly used in-car application. It's also the feature most manufacturers are focusing on now. However, with multi-dimensional user interfaces such as the shared experience display, BYTON driver tablet, voice assistant, facial recognition, and gesture control, we can now take the navigation experience to a whole new level to offer the most advanced and intuitive navigation experience on the market. We have created a video to demonstrate this unique experience, and here we want to share this video with you. Hey BYTON, when is time my date for Andrea with Andrea? Hey Ivan, your date with Andrea was an hour ago. We should call her now. Certainly. Andrea, I'm so sorry. I really thought it was tomorrow. Where are you? Walking home. I left the cinema because someone forgot our anniversary. Sorry, babe. I'll come pick you up. Okay. Well, I'll give you another chance. We'll see. Sharing my location. On my way. Guess I'll have to take this one. We'll arrive at Andrea's location in 15 minutes. I'm starving. I hope she didn't eat yet. Hey BYTON, switch to AR mode. I don't think I can pick the right road. Hey BYTON, how are you, Andrea? So why are you taking me now? Now that you ruined our movie? I was thinking Japanese. So you think you can win me back with sushi? BYTON, show us Japanese restaurants nearby. These are the Japanese restaurants nearby. BYTON, which of these will get me out of the mobile rank according to the best restaurant? It's of no use. Well, we'll see. Let's go. Now that's how you celebrate a date. BYTON, drive us home. Self-driving now accepted. BYTON, please play the film that we're supposed to watch. Movie now playing. Happy anniversary, darling. As you can see, thanks to the coast-to-coast display, we can perfectly showcase AR navigation and information for all points of interest. And this sort of experience will be completely different from the experience that you get from smaller screen. Either you drive it yourself or you use autonomous driving, the experience will be quite unprecedented. What you just saw is not just a concept. Our production card is going to turn all these ideas into reality. In addition to basic functions such as navigation, BYTON delivers enhanced in-car offerings and applications. And they include my office, my activities, my health, my entertainment, and more. It keeps you connected all the time and enables you to make video calls with many friends and family, or have a conference call with your colleagues. Moreover, each of our users will have an exclusive BYTON ID. Facial recognition will automatically log the user into their account when they get in the car and sync up all the personal information at the same time. say the information on their phone. BYTON also features sophisticated AI technologies and machine learning capabilities. So the car becomes smarter every time you use it. By analyzing user data, the car can take care of the user's mobility life like a smart housekeeper. In the age of autonomous driving, the value of BYTON's user interface will be fully realized. So we can say that BYTON is tailor-made for the age of autonomous driving. The 2018 World Cup kicks off soon. Fans around the world will lock their attention on their beloved teams. But imagine, what if a game is showing while you're driving? You can switch on autonomous driving mode and watch the game on your car. In addition to its tech-savvy features, BYTON is also a reliable and eco-friendly electric vehicle. We know very well that range and charging are of critical importance to all customers. BYTON's batteries are supplied by the world's leading lithium battery manufacturer, CATL. We've finished the Series B fundraising, and CATL has become one of our shareholders. The future production versions will offer two range options, 400 and 520 kilometers, which is a round-trip journey between Shanghai and Hangzhou. In fast charging mode, the battery charges 80% in just 30 minutes. We will provide users with home charging solutions. We're also partnering with service providers and operators to guarantee that when we go online next year, there will be hundreds of thousands of public charging piles out there. Now let's welcome Hendrik again onto the stage.
So, ladies and gentlemen, now are you looking at our new beauty? We just celebrated the world premiere last night here at CES Asia, our BYTON K-Byte concept. So this beauty is based on our own BYTON EV platform, as you have just seen in Daniel's presentation. So here a more technical close look. So on this platform, we will be able to host different models. So starting from our first BYTON M-Byte, which we presented in January at the CES in Las Vegas, and now the BYTON K-Byte presented just last night. So, and I don't know how you, what kind of character you prefer. I never considered myself driving a sedan, but when I look at this beauty, I have the feeling that this is representing the most modern, the most progressive, and the most future-oriented three-box design in the world out there. So I could consider myself driving a sedan first time in my life. So, of course, we are quite proud that this is the first time. Maybe we go back to the image because I think it's worth looking at it again, because the design team did a great job by translating our design language from our first car into this one, because as you can see, it has a very, very sleek design language, and we are also integrating our first own design equity, for example, like our BYTON blade in the front containing the brand name, so with a reduced number of lines so that it has its own identity. So this own design language we apply in the first one and the second one, and we are of course keen on moving on and defining the new standards in automotive car design in the industry. A design language which is reflecting luxury, premium, but at the same time also sportiness and technology. So what was, of course, a big challenge for us with the design team was the integration of the LiDARs and the automotive grid standards. But first, of course, we started to find the right proportions, because the proportions, they need to be right. Otherwise, it will never look beautiful. So this is why when we designed the EV platform, BYTON's EV platform already, we made sure that we are always ending up with the most beautiful proportions. What does it mean? A car needs to have a good stand. so therefore a good width. So we are having this with 1.95 meters, so it has a very good stand. So then on top of that, it has a very good long wheelbase. So we are talking about a wheelbase of 3 meters. So, and then with a very short overhang in the front and in the rear, it will always come across very sporty. Then of course you want to have a very low shoulder line and a very low body, because as a sedan it needs to be sleek and very, very sporty. So this is why we're happy that we are able to achieve a height of a little bit less than 1.5 meter, even though having the high battery package underneath, perfectly protected between the front axle and the rear axle. So a very sleek and modern design language and very well balanced proportions. The C-pillar, as you can see, contains also a nice little detail. It's our side glider. And this side glider has also a very aerodynamic function. Why is aerodynamic so important? Because especially for an electric vehicle, it needs to be as aerodynamic as possible, so in order not to minimize range. So this is why we have this aero effect in the M-Byte already, and now in the new interpretation also integrated in the K-Byte. What we also developed further is our so-called smart surfaces. So the smart surfaces we are having already in the M-Byte integrated, and they are giving us the opportunity that the car can communicate with the outside world. For example, you're driving the car in the autonomous mode, and then it can communicate it to the outside world. And this smart surface we integrated here in the next level, so you have this beautiful 3D effect, because we have a bit more space in the front in comparison to vehicles with an internal combustion engine.
Thank you, Henrik.
I hope you will like the K-Byte. So based on the product positioning of the next generation smart device, BYTON is the first company to propose a stylish yet realistic integration of autonomous driving technology based on a real package of sensors. The BYTON K-Byte concept perfectly integrates the latest elements of autonomous driving, such as the LiDARs. It demonstrates the digital power of BYTON in a vivid and elegant manner, and it results in a sedan that is both beautiful and practical. Now, as we often see, autonomous driving cars in road tests usually carry a lot of sensors on the roof, like carrying a pen. We are different. We don't carry that pen. Firstly, we integrate the front and rear LiDARs in a graceful and slender module on the roof. As you can see on the picture, it's just like a slightly curved bow, and we call it the BYTON Libo. These 4 LiDARs can perform a 360-degree full-view panoramic scan of the vehicle's surroundings. Secondly, a pair of retractable LiDARs are equipped below the side view cameras, and we call them the BYTON LiGARs. One on the left and one on the right. They look like 2 high-tech guards. Under autonomous driving mode, the BYTON LiGARs extend and deploy to ensure driving safety. However, for manual driving or parking, the BYTON LiGARs will automatically retract. And worth to mention that the LiDARs can even light up in different scenarios, which can be used as a signal to the pedestrians. In terms of autonomous driving technology, BYTON is joining hands with world-class partners to deliver industry-leading autonomous driving solutions. Currently, BYTON has partnered with Aurora to develop the L4 autonomous driving solution. by the end of 2020, BYTON and Aurora will have a fleet of prototype vehicles with L4 autonomous driving capabilities, and we will be testing these vehicles to prepare for volume and mass production. In China, we are exploring cooperation with Baidu and other industry leaders to provide Chinese consumers with localized autonomous driving functionality and experience. Our mass production sedan will be launched firstly in China in 2021. And the first car will be launched in the latter half of next year, and about 1.5 years later, the mass production sedan will be launched. And worth mentioning, all product will be launched firstly in China, and in a short time, we will export from China to North America and Europe, both for SUV and sedan. And now I will give the floor back to Henrik.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you have just seen our vision of the future of mobility. And so please allow me to briefly introduce the story of our young brand BYTON. So we founded the company in 2016, and in 2017 we got the first injections. We closed our first A round in 2017. In September, on September 7, we launched here in Shanghai the brand BYTON, and a brand rooted in China, designed and developed for the entire world. Then, on the next day after the launch, we celebrated the groundbreaking ceremony of our plant, which we are building in Nanjing. And then in December, we opened our North America headquarters, which started its operation in the Silicon Valley. As we all know, it's one of the most important technology hubs in the world. In January 2018, this year, our BYTON M-Byte made its stunning debut at the CES in Las Vegas, and it was clear to us that this was the right platform, because our car is not just an electric vehicle, it is the next generation smart device, and therefore it was clear to us, Gary, that we do it at the CES, at the most important consumer electronic show in the world. In April, we launched now the M-Byte, and also here we are pleased to do this here in the right environment, because here we are surrounded with people which are sharing with us this authentic interest in the future of technology. So therefore, also from my side, thank you very much for the great stage which we had yesterday, and I hope you will visit our booth which we are having here at the CES. Also this month, we just opened our Nanjing headquarters in Nanjing. So Nanjing is our home, and this is where we have our R&D center and where the plant is being located. So also this is worth visiting for those people who are living like me in China. So this is the timeline so far. And now I have to see the next slide, please. Here we go. So our brand rooted in China, and as I said, we have the global headquarters in Nanjing. In Shanghai, we have the global the design team China being located, because also the K-Byte was rooted in China. So the design development of the BYTON K-Byte took place in Shanghai. And as Benoit said last night, for this car, it's like a homecoming. In Beijing, we have all our colleagues from the external affairs team located. In Los Angeles, we just opened a new studio which is dedicated for the advanced user interface design, dealing with the user interface demands of the next century. And in Santa Clara, we are having our UI UX designers perfectly working on this software development, which is very important. In Nanjing, we are currently establishing our first our plant, and it's going to be on the highest quality standard. So this is the most modern car plant, going to be the most modern car plant in the world. It will be perfectly integrated, so also that the user can follow the process of the development of its own product. It's quite a spacious area, so it provides us enough space so that we can build a plant where we can build up to 300,000 units per year. So don't get me wrong, that's not our annual capacity in the first year. My colleague who's running the plant is with me. I think you agree with me, Mark. So not the first year, 300,000 units, right? So we will ramp up to this one. So, but of course we want to grow and we want to sell the product globally. So this is why we are building a plant which is able to cope with this volume requirement. We just invited some of the media, maybe one of you was also joining us there this week. We just finished our trial shop. It's also new in the industry, so we just have built a trial shop where we can test and validate all manufacturing processes. Why do we do this investment? We want to end up with the highest quality standards. So, and this is why we invested in this trial shop where we can try in every single detail in terms of manufacturing process. And I would like to share with you a film which is showcasing what is taking place in this trial shop. Thank you. So you see, we're serious, we are building this beauty. So in October this year, the construction of our stamping, welding, painting and assembly workshops will be ready to hand over to begin equipment installation. In the first half of 2019, we will enter the so-called pre-production phase. Preparing for mass production, it's like fighting a war, yeah, without a gunfire. So we are running a very, very fast race, and the entire team is keen on meeting this target because we are convinced that we are perfectly on track. And so in order to meet the start of the mass production end of next year already. Of course, in order to do so, you also need a little bit of fuel to run the engine, or in our case, a little bit of electricity to run the engine. And this is why we are also quite pleased that we just finished our B round funding phase. So the next injection just came in perfectly in time with $500 million US. And this will enable us to keep on running and to meet the timeline just explained. Our major investors include also, as you can see, FAW, and this is of course for us a great partner. So the first China car company, so very, 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 very experienced when it comes to high quality production standards. And of course, with their cooperation, we look forward to develop very, very good content. And so that's, besides other investors, a very, very strong one, which we are very pleased to have on board. Oh. So now I hand over to Daniel again.
Thank you. Harder.
Well, closing of the B round financing is a mileage of our company. For a startup, financing is always the top priority, and we believe this round of financing gave us a lot of valuable partners, and perhaps we are the first automobile startup that is financed by a traditional automaker, and I believe this is a very good thing, a good news for us. Even though we want to build the next generation smart terminal, but still our product is a car, a vehicle. And car is different from mobile phone because car is related with safety. So a good quality car should make great use of the capability of the existing traditional industries. Therefore, we are talking about cooperation with the traditional industries in development and manufacturing. And BYTON has technology, product, capital, and plant. And we believe these are the essential 4 must-haves for a automobile startup. Henry just shared with you our production progress. And now I would like to introduce the progress of our brand store.
We have already decided to use direct sales. Our first BYTON brand store will be built in a prime downtown location in Shanghai, Taiguhui. The BYTON brand store will completely disrupt the conventional dealership design. When designing a traditional dealership, the OEMs mainly think about how to better display the products and to promote sales. While designing the BYTON brand store, we started from scratch and completely adopted a consumer's perspective. We asked ourselves why consumers would visit the store. What type of experience would make every minute truly meaningful for them? Following this approach, we determined the 5 functions for our stores: to know, to explore, to social, to learn, and to own. Starting from these 5 points, we designed various functional areas for the brand store. Our philosophy is each minute, each step. This means that each step customers take in the brand store is designed to deliver value. We won't make them take any superfluous step because every step has to be entertaining and of great value. Similar to BYTON cars, BYTON brand stores make use of the latest cutting-edge technologies. We use technology to provide a better user experience. For example, BYTON users can log into the brand store by scanning a QR code or through facial recognition. And we use augmented reality to show the hidden technologies embedded in our products, such as the car, the body structure, and the battery. We use VR to provide a test drive experience, presenting various usage scenarios, including those that might be difficult to experience in a real-road test drive. And we use simulators to demonstrate the advantages of having a large screen and multi-dimensional control so that people are able to experience our products without sitting in a show car. And we use an online video conferencing system to allow consumers to communicate face-to-face with our engineers and designers in Germany, United States, and Nanjing. To give everyone a sneak preview, at this year's CES Asia show, we set up a VR experience area. It will also be available in our brand stores in the future. Now let's watch a video clip for an example of that VR experience. Isn't it cool? We will launch our first BYTON brand store in Shanghai in the 4th quarter of this year. We will launch our brand stores first in China. We plan to open 25 to 30 brand stores in China before the end of next year, mainly in 1st and 2nd-tier cities. Later, we will also open stores in major cities in Europe and North America. For the continued rollout of the brand stores, BYTON will use a hybrid model with retail partners. BYTON will define the processes and standards and will act as the direct contracting party for consumers. Our retail partners will be responsible for providing infrastructure and personnel and will run our brand stores as agents. This model is different from that of Tesla because we believe that good retailing in China involves better understanding of the local customers in order to provide better services. So that's why this brand store model is a sort of innovation. We will adopt the best retail agent, but the experience mode will be tailor-made by ourselves and offered by ourselves.
Let's go through the key points we would like to share with you here today. So, we want to be the spearhead in the auto industry in the era of smart mobility. BYTON is building the most futuristic smart electric vehicle. We call it ourselves the next generation smart device, which is meeting the highest quality and safety standards to be marketed worldwide. The BYTON K-Byte concept, just presented yesterday, made its debut, and I would like to invite you once again to join us, to visit us at our stand here at the CES Asia.
BYTON 并轮融资已经顺利完成。
BYTON has closed Series B fundraising with total amount of $500 million. Our Nanjing plant construction is in full swing. Prototype vehicles for various testing purposes have already rolled off the line at the trial workshop, and by the end of this year, we'll hand over about 100 prototype vehicles. BYTON will open its first brand store in Shanghai in the fourth quarter of this year and plans to open 25 to 30 brand stores in China before the end of next year.
Very much for your attention, for joining us here at this keynote, for giving us the stage. Once again, thank you very much to the CTA for a great CES, and we look forward to seeing you at our stand here in this great show. Thank you very much.
非常感谢大家，欢迎大家。
Thank you very much and welcome to our booth. Thank you.